Here's all you need to know this week in Pokemon GO. Heatran will continue in 5-star legendary raids, and Mega Pinsir will continue in 4-star mega raids all week. I covered these two last week, so to sum up, Heatran is good but won't come with Magma Storm, and Mega Pinsir is good but bug types aren't very useful. Raids will change on Monday, March 31st. The Deep Depths event will continue from last week until 8 PM on Monday. Be sure to claim the rewards from the timed research before they expire at the end of the event. Caterpie will feature in the Max Monday hour from 6 to 7 PM, with Pidove, Chansey, and Charmander available along with Caterpie for the entire week. The Caterpie family are new additions to the Max system, but are unlikely to be particularly useful. Butterfree also has a Gigantamax form yet to be released in-game. On Tuesday at 1 PM Pacific time, the active Go Battle Leagues will become all 3 standard open leagues. You can check the GBL schedule in-game to see what's coming up and for when the leagues change in your local time zone. The weekly Spotlight Hour runs from 6 to 7 PM on Tuesday and will feature Cutiefly. For 1 hour, it will be everywhere in the wild at a boosted spawn rate, and the active bonus will be 2 times catch XP. Cutiefly has an annoying catch circle and a fairly low catch rate, making it difficult to take advantage of the XP bonus, and Rabombi isn't good for much. If you're heading out there anyway, be sure to Mega Evolve a bug or fairy type for extra catch candy. PokeStop Showcases will end on Tuesday and Sunday at 8 PM, likely featuring event-themed Pokemon. Enter them for easy Stardust and XP, and you could win premium items. Beginning on Wednesday at 10 AM, the Bug Out event runs until the end of Sunday and will introduce the Galar Pokemon Sizzlipede and its evolution Centiskorch to Pokemon GO. Wurmple and Venipede will feature in the wild at a boosted shiny rate, along with various other bug types. The active bonuses will be 2 times catch XP, additional catch candy, and an increased chance for Candy XL, all of which only trigger when landing nice throws or better. Sizzlipede will only appear when lure modules are placed at Pokestops, and if enough Pokemon are caught off a single lure, additional Pokemon will begin to appear at that Pokestop. There will be a free timed research as well as a $2 paid timed research, and lower tier raids will feature even more bug type Pokemon. The weekly raid hour runs from 6 to 7 PM on Wednesday and will feature Heatran. Any 5-star raid boss caught during a raid hour will award a rare Candy XL. An instant raid will appear on most gyms if there are players nearby with the game open. The raid will last 25 minutes, then there will be a 5-minute break before the next 25-minute raid will appear. Weekends in March feature Shadow Regice in 5-star Shadow Raids, which are in-person only and do have the chance to be shiny. City Safari events will take place in Milan, Santiago, Singapore, and Mumbai over the weekend for players in those cities with paid event tickets. Mudbray and its evolution Mudsdale will make their Pokemon GO debut at City Safaris this year, along with their shiny forms. Skiddo and Go-Goat were previously locked to City Safaris, but we'll be seeing them during GoFest this year, so we can expect a worldwide release of Mudbray at a future event as well. On Saturday from 2 to 5 PM, the Fuzzy Buddy Research Day will feature Teddiursa, Pancham, Cubchoo, and Stufful. The most important thing to know about a research day is that you cannot get field research from the same Pokestop twice in one day. So if you're planning to play during the event, don't complete any field research from the Pokestops in the area. During the event, you'll get encounters with any of the 4 featured Pokemon at a boosted shiny rate through field research. There will also be event-themed wild Pokemon, but these will not get a shiny boost. There will be a paid timed research ticket, which gets you more encounters with 1 or 2 of the 4 featured Pokemon, which can be helpful if you're shiny hunting something specific because you don't know which Pokemon you'll get out of each individual field research task. If you're going after all 4 shinies, you can wait until later in the event to purchase the ticket and see if you're able to get some shinies first. The ticket gives you more encounters of the Pokemon of your choice, and once complete, you can choose another Pokemon and do a second round. Completing the paid timed research requires you to complete field research tasks, so make sure you have plenty of Pokestops you can visit and try to spin them strategically to keep track of where you've been. Also keep in mind that you need space in your item inventory in order to spin stops. If you're planning to use an auto catcher, I'd recommend turning off the ability to spin stops so you can better keep track. As for utility, Pangoro is ranked well in both the Great and Ultra Leagues, though you will need to receive it in a trade to get closer to its ideal PvP IVs. Ursaluna is ranked well in the Master League, though it requires an Elite TM. The weekend Pokestop Showcase will end at 8 PM on Sunday, which is the same time that the Bug Out event will end. The seasonal bonuses for Might and Mastery will be active until June 3rd. And that's it for the week ending Sunday, March 30th, 2025. Check the description below for links to download this calendar in full quality. For overtime this week, I'm going to give my thoughts on this year's GO Tour and talk about how I played the event. The Unova Tour was actually only the second GO Tour I've played, with the first being last year's Sinnoh Tour. After bouncing off the game in 2018, which was really just a temporary comeback after I bounced off it in 2016, I picked it up again in April of 2023, so I missed the Hoenn Tour by just a couple of months. I probably would have missed the Sinnoh Tour as well if I hadn't finally found a local community of players and started to take the game to, let's say, unhealthy levels of commitment. I completely actually missed Go Fest of 2023, so the global Sinnoh Go Tour was the first major event I played, and it was honestly overwhelming. The road to Sinnoh had one major difference from the road to Unova we had this year. The featured raid bosses rotated out each day, just like this year, but the Pokemon only had their featured attacks if you caught them during raid hour. This year, the Pokemon had their featured attacks all day long and actually all week long, which meant you could claim the timed research at any point and get those attacks. You actually needed to claim the timed research Pokemon from the Sinnoh Tour during the raid hour to get the featured attacks. Meanwhile, frantically doing as many raids as you could in the 1 hour that you had to get those attacks. So the road to Unova was, in my opinion, way better than the previous year just for that reason. For me, I still hadn't caught most of the Pokemon offered up in raids that week, so it was nice to have all day each day to go after them. I do wish that event lasted 2 weeks instead of 1 though, so that each of the Swords of Justice and the Forces of Nature could have their own day in raids. It was really a scramble to try to get everything I was after on those 2 raid days. The other thing happening that week was the Tour Pass, and this was pretty scummy. It should have been made crystal clear ahead of time how many points we could earn each day, how many points it would take to rank up, and how many points would be awarded for each activity. I paid for the auto unlock of 10 levels because I knew I wouldn't have that much time to play all week. So once I saw how the points would be flowing in like crazy over the weekend, I realized how dumb it was to spend that extra money. I don't remember exactly what rank I reached, but it was well into the 200s. I was expecting to have to grind a bit to get a lucky trinket, but all I really had to do was raid. In general, the communication around this event was pretty bad, and a lot of the details were left to the last minute or just not communicated at all. It's hard to not feel like they obfuscate things on purpose. So many people were asking about the boosted shiny odds, for example, and they could have just updated their blog post to say, no, this event won't have boosted shiny odds. I hope the communication improves under Scopely, but I'm not holding my breath. Speaking of the shiny odds, it really didn't bother me to not have the boost on wild Pokemon, though I feel like for the price of the deluxe tour pass, it really should have come with that bonus. I barely caught any wild Pokemon over the weekend though because I was pretty focused on raiding. Unlike when I played the Sinnoh Tour a year before, this time I already had most of the Unova decks filled in. I have almost everything that's been released in the game, in fact, so I wasn't too motivated to do a lot of catching. I'm not that much of a shiny hunter, and full odds wild shinies are just not worth my time. It's pretty clear at this point that they really want to control the flow of shinies so that it's a drawn out experience. It seems most events lately have 1 or 2 Pokemon featured at a slightly boosted shiny rate, and then you can pay for an event ticket which gets you more encounters with that Pokemon. Where I did spend my time over that weekend was raiding a ton of black and white Kyurem. I was trying to get enough fusion energy to build 2 of each, so I used a lot of raid passes. Fortunately, after playing for as long as I have, I'm able to save up Pokecoins for months at a time and didn't spend any actual money on raid passes. I have some issues with raids during these big events though, and these are complaints that I've made before, but they've also been addressed before during other events, so why not here? First, instead of an event ticket, we just got the raids and hatch tickets. The raids ticket gave a single extra raid pass per day. It wasn't increased over the weekend either. Considering how many raids are required per fusion, I thought that was pretty lame, especially when you factor in how many raid bosses they crammed into that week. I'm lucky to have been prepared to spend a bunch of free Pokecoins, but still. What I'm more annoyed about is having to catch the legendary after beating the raid. It was so much more fun to raid during Go Fest and the Go Wild area last year because both events featured special Pokeballs for catching raid bosses, those being Beast Balls and Go Safari Balls. Give us special Tour Balls and let us raid, catch, and move on, please. There's so much to do, no one wants to sit around throwing ball after ball at Kyurem all day. Another thing missing from the Unova Tour that was fun for the tours of the past were roaming legendaries. In the mainline series, every generation since Gold and Silver had roaming legendaries, and the tour events are always closely themed towards each generation. I remember finding a handful of the Lake Trio legendaries during the Sinnoh Tour, and it was super exciting to see those in the wild. The Forces of Nature in their incarnate forms were roaming legendaries in black and white, and yet they didn't feature in the wild for the Unova Tour. Instead, they were in a timed research which could only be obtained by redeeming codes on the web store. It's a crazy downgrade. The only theory I have as to why they made this change is so that multi-account users are less likely to get a bunch of shiny legendary checks for free. To complete the timed research, you needed to catch a bunch of Pokemon, which would at least slow down any dedicated multi-accounters. But who knows, I don't know, that's just my theory. Overall, your enjoyment for that event probably comes down to your personal goals and experience with the game. In the past 2 years, I've basically caught everything available in Pokemon Go. I can see why long-term players start to obsess over shinies, because that's basically like trying to complete a harder version of the Pokedex. The Sinnoh tour of last year was exciting to me because I was able to catch everything I was missing from that generation, having played for less than a year at that point. But as I've said, I had the entire Unova Dex completed before this year's Go tour, aside from a few of the legendaries. I even had the regionals already thanks to a well-traveled friend. But I think that's just how this game goes. The longer you play, the less you have low-hanging fruit to go after. I'm already at the point where I only really play Go when there's something new to go after, and I'm okay with that because there are a lot of other games I want to spend time with. But I can't deny that there's been a decline in the value of the Go tour, which is a shame because I think it's my favorite event. I really like how much they draw from the mainline series. All that said, here's a look at my shiny haul from the event and a bit of before and after as far as Unova Pokemon are concerned. I hatched 2 shiny Sandiles back to back in the same batch of 12-kilometer eggs, which was quite the surprise that morning. Virizion was hiding in the free timed research. Thundurus was just some random raid. Genesect was also in the free timed research. This shiny black Kyurem will likely get lucky traded away for something good one day since the IVs are kinda low. Tepig was the only wild shiny I found during the Unova tour, so I evolved it up to get Blast Burn, and I kinda like the blue fire. Excelgor and Escavalier were mirror trades over the weekend, and one of them randomly went lucky. I used a guaranteed lucky from 2016 or 2018 to get this shiny Reshiram. I've shown off this Shundo white Kyurem before. I still haven't powered it up to 50 though. I'm pretty stingy with Stardust. This Cobalion went lucky randomly, which I was actually disappointed about because I was hoping to get some PvP IVs, even though I really don't want to play PvP. I used a lucky trade for this black background Kyurem with disappointing IVs, but whatever, it's better than the other one I had, so it's the one I'm going with. This Klinklang is pretty cool. It's actually one of my favorite Unova Pokemon, and I got it from an Enigma field research, which I only found 2 of total, so got pretty lucky with this shiny. This Archeops was from the Catch Mastery event this past weekend, and Mindfu was a trade, and apparently the other trainer got this from the Deluxe Tour Pass reward. And that's it. Thanks for watching. Come hang out in the Discord if you want to chat, and I will be back next week. See you then.